Go. All right. Okay, so my name is Miguel Reyes, and today I'm going to talk about the 2008 Boston Celtics and their importance on the way that the league has gone since this team won the championship. So I want to begin my presentation or my speech with this video. So what I'm going to do is share my screen and show this video.
Champion, how does that sound? So right now, anything's possible. Anything's possible.
So that's superstar forward Kevin Garnett after the 2008 Celtics had finished their demolition of the 2008 Lakers and Kobe Bryant. Essentially why I wanted to talk about this team and why I think they are so important on the way that the modern NBA is that in the modern NBA, this is the first time that we had three superstars join together and form what we call in today's modern lingo, a super team. And these three superstars were Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, and Kevin Garnett. The year prior, this Boston Celtics team, was one of the worst teams in the league. And they were almost what you could call them directionless. In a matter of perhaps a year and a half, they went from bottom cellar dwelling kind of team to the NBA champions. And I believe that the rest of the league took notice of this. And more specifically, I think that one player really took notice of what was happening. And this is what leads me to the next part of what happens in this league, and that's LeBron James. LeBron James was a forward for the Cavaliers who happened to be in the same conference as this super team, the Boston Celtics, except that he was eliminated by this team 3 years in a row. 2 years out of 3, actually. So in the free agency summer of 2011 or 2010, LeBron James decides to do something that no player has ever done. And he decides to join up with 2 other players to form a super team during free agency. Then they joined this team called the Miami Heat. At the time, he was publicly chastised and criticized for this move, as the common ethos of players in the NBA was that you needed to do things individually, that you needed to try to win on your own, regardless of the circumstances, regardless of the competition you face. The thing that was popular, what players thought you ought to do, was to win on your own at whatever cost. So when LeBron James decided to do something like join other players, well, first and foremost, now we've had this precedent of this actually working with the 2008 Celtics. So he decides to join, and this team also happens to win 2 championships in 4 years, further establishing that this is a credible route to win and influencing other players to perhaps want to leave their teams and chase greener pastures. I believe that all of this is leading to perhaps like the nuclear event of superstar teams and the concept of super teams. And that is when forward Kevin Durant joined the Warriors in 2016. Well, this Warriors team the year before had been one of the best teams in the NBA, and they really set the record for most wins ever in a regular season. Except that they were beat in the finals in 2016 by what you could also perhaps call a super team in and of itself. And it was another name that we talked about before, LeBron James, and 2 other star players, and Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love. The thing is, with this kind of loss, the front office and the players from the Warriors decided, setting records isn't good enough. We need to somehow even be better. So they decided to obtain the services of Kevin Durant, like literally one of the best players in the league. And the fallout from this was pretty crazy. A lot of players, former players, voiced their animosity towards this kind of thing. And even NBA forward Paul Pierce tweeting about this situation. A member of the 2008 Celtics, he tweeted, "If you can't beat him, join him." You know, and that seemed to be like a common. That seemed to be a common way of thinking towards a situation. But the fact of the matter is that those Kevin Durant Warriors teams, they won 2 championships again in 4 years. It's further solidifying the fact and the cause and the case for leaving your team, leaving a situation that you aren't perhaps as happy or doing the best at, and joining something that we call a super team. So it's kind of funny and it's kind of crazy when you think that these events that took place in a random summer where these early 30-year-old men decided to join together and win one for the first time ever in their careers has impacted and shaped and shifted and shaped the way that $1 billion league, one of the most important corporations in the entire world, has decided to function. And that's why I wanted to talk today about the importance of the 2008 Boston Celtics and why I believe that what they did in the summer of 2007 has changed and forever impacted the league that we call the NBA. Thank you for listening and for being here, and have a good evening.